This is a Hope 1032 podcast.
Hi, I'm Heidi Wiseman. You're listening to Hopeful Reflections with Heidi, where I reflect on biblical principles to anchor you deeper in hope. I pray this message will encourage and inspire you. Now, I absolutely love walking in nature, and every time I head out, I pray for God to open my eyes to see Him in His creation. And let me tell you, He never disappoints. I see His hand in so many things. Just last week, I had the most incredible encounters with some of my favorite creatures, kookaburras. First, I spotted one sitting majestically by the ocean on a cliff, and then a couple more in a tree. It was as though they were everywhere. I couldn't help but smile because I think the Lord knows how much I love birds. There's something about the kookaburra's laughter that speaks to me, especially during tough times. When I felt overwhelmed, I've heard their laughter and it reminds me of God's presence. I've even heard them at night, no lie, and I've had to step outside just to make sure I wasn't imagining it. Even in the darkness, the kookaburra laughs. It's a beautiful reminder that God is with me and all is well. I love the verse from Proverbs chapter 31, verse 25, which says, "She is clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days to come." Recently, I went for a walk with some school mums around the local wetlands, and once again, I was reminded of God's goodness. As we walked through the beauty of nature, we were blessed to see purple swamp hens feeding their chicks. Spring was in the air, and we stood in awe watching how lovingly the parent birds cared for their chicks. And I couldn't help but think of the tender way God watches over us. But out of nowhere, a red-bellied black snake suddenly appeared. One of the parent swamp hens let out a loud squawk to warn the other birds of the danger. Thanks to that squawk, we noticed the snake too. We watched as it slithered towards the baby birds on the other side of the water, but something incredible happened. The parent birds sprang into action, fiercely protecting their young. They began pecking at the snake until it slithered away. I was relieved and amazed at the same time. I realize it's the cycle of life in nature, but I was so grateful that no chicks were harmed that day. But more than that, I was in awe of how God designed these creatures with such strong instincts to protect and care for their young. Doesn't it remind you of how much God cares for us, His children, His masterpiece? As a parent, I know the lengths I would go to for my son. But God is a father like no other. His love for us is fierce, protective, and constant. He watches over us even when we don't realize it, guiding us through danger and offering His peace in the middle of life's storms. In Matthew chapter 10, verses 29 to 31, Jesus tells us just how precious we are to God. "Are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny? Yet not one of them will fall to the ground outside your Father's care. And even the very hairs of your head are all numbered. So don't be afraid. You are worth more than many sparrows." If God takes such care of the birds, and how much more does He value and cherish each of us? I pray that this week, as you spend time in creation or reflect on the beauty around you, you are reminded of God's deep love for you. May you hear His voice in the laughter of a bird, the rustling of the trees, or the quiet moments, and know that He is with you, protecting and guiding you. You are so valuable to Him. Be encouraged. He's watching over you every step of the way. Thank you for listening to Hopeful Reflections with Heidi. I'd love you to subscribe to Hopeful Reflections with Heidi on your favourite podcasting app so you can get more faith-filled and inspiring messages of hope. Also, I'd love you to check out my website, hopewithheidi.com, for the video version of this podcast and other hope-filled content.